All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Pin High Philly, the Philadelphia Golf Show. I am a total cornball for that one, but who cares? We have a great episode all in store for you all. So I'm Francesca Ruscio, the Philly golfer, and today's episode is a fun one because we're talking to someone who is doing something rather incredible and rather, honestly, quite frankly, very extreme, but yet not really totally unreasonable, yet very inspiring all at the same time. Wait till you hear this. When he told me that he is doing this very thing, I almost didn't believe it, but then I played golf with him and then again, I believed it. So my friend Daniel here is joining us in just a moment. He's a golf content creator out in Los Angeles who's trying to make it to the tour. I mean, who isn't? But he's doing it in a way that I think no one has ever heard of by committing to logging 10,000 hours of golf practice. That kind of retrospectively sounds like a golfer's dream, right? Why the 10,000 hours though? And actually, how long does that take? Like extensively, what does 10,000 hours look like? I guess we're about to find out. But before we jump in, we're going to do a quick shout out to our friends over at PXG for helping all of us get ready for this golf season. If you've been thinking about getting a professional fitting, upgrading your set, or just seeing what properly matched equipment can actually do for your game, now's the time to do so. You can use my code PhillyGolfGirl10 when you're going in for your fitting. Another quick reminder, I'll be playing in the Amateur Tour event on June 8th. If you want to come out and join me, go grab your foursome and you can join us at amateurgolftour.net. That is amateurgolftour.net. Always fun when the Philly golf community shows up strong. All right, Daniel, welcome to the Pin High Philly Golf Podcast.
Hey,
All the way from LA. All the way from LA.
Actually, today from Phoenix in a hotel room.
No, what are you doing?
And I can get into that, but this is for my day job.
Okay.
But because I'm a director of marketing for Burbank Sports Cards, so I get to sell joy for a living and market joy for a living, which is awesome. So part of
Nice.
that, I get to travel around and do conferences, which is I'm currently at a Topps industry conference in Phoenix, talking about what's new with Topps baseball cards, and they have the new football IP. I'm sure they're going to have golf soon, but but they are just really cool in the space, and I'm lucky to be able to do that as a day job when I am not golfing. But thank you so much for having me. I am really, really honored to be here. Thank you.
Of course, of course. So, I mean, look, we talked about, I introed you for 10,000 hours. And I
Mhm.
remember we got to play golf together. What was where did we play golf again? What was the name of that
We
golf course?
it used to be called Braemar Country Club, but now it's Mulholland Hills Country Club. It is a cool place in around Woodland Hills, California. They have 3 nines. It is a beautiful course. I got to hang out with our friend David Franks, who is just a wonderful human being. And
Mhm.
they just had newly done their renovations when we went. So we were one of, I mean, less than 100 people had played that course by the time we were on there, which is so cool.
Very, very, very cool. That's awesome. Okay. And they have, so which 18 did we play of the 3 9?
Oh,
We,
that's a really good
do you know
question.
that? Do you know that or no?
I forgot the names off the top of my head, but let me see if I can find out.
All
Uh,
good. All
because
good.
I
Yeah.
I get
D-
the old names and the new names confused all the time.
You know, just for the sake of it, we'll call it front 9, middle 9, back 9.
That's fair. Then if we did that, we played the front 9 and the back 9.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the middle 9 is the middle 9, which is the oldest of the 3 we did not play.
Oh my God. I had coffee too. I swear, my coffee's right here.
I love it. Yeah, and for those watching at home, we're like early birds this morning.
We
Yeah.
are early birds because, you've got 10,000 hours of golf to log. So
Yeah,
I don't
never
want to
sleep.
take up too much of your time.
So
but
funny.
but before, we really get into it, I have to ask you, why the 10,000 hours and why golf of all things
Mm,
you could have picked? Like, walk
yeah.
me through the sequencing of that whole approach.
Yeah, it's a really, really good question and kind of a fun story. So, in 2009, a gentleman. So my idea is not original. That is why I'm called the new Dan Plan,
Ooh,
because in 2009 there was a Dan named Dan McLaughlin who started the Dan Plan, and so imagine the landscape of 2009. We were just
mhm.
coming out of a financial crisis. Golf was on a downturn. Tiger is up in the air. Scandal one has already happened. Golf is not doing too hot. It is expensive. People don't have money, and it is out of touch with its fan base. And Dan McLaughlin took it upon himself to challenge Malcolm Gladwell's theory that said you can put in 10,000 hours into anything and become an expert at it. And so he
Hmm.
started with zero golf experience. He's never picked up a golf club in his life. And he started this blog. And I mean, this is before it was easy to start websites. He started a website before YouTube golf. I mean, if he went at it, he would have been the Grant Horvat of his generation.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
so, if you notice, there was also that other gentleman who wrote Paper Tiger, and he went on a journey to go and qualify to be a pro. This is around that same time frame, and so I was really inspired by him in that journey, and I followed him along. I'd log into his website. I'd listen to some of the videos that he was putting out, and I was just so enamored and inspired by some guy that was just so committed to something which in the beginning almost seemingly one, it just felt impossible, but two, just being like he's just a committed dude. This is incredible. And so I followed his journey, and then 6,000 hours into his journey, he got a back injury, and the story is incomplete. And one day you just logged in,
Mm.
you see one log, and I think I should also give this man his flowers of he traveled the world. He was in Australia. Colleges were doing studies on him as probably one of the most extensive sports research projects that is out there, and gained a lot of popularity, and in a time that golf needed something. This He was once sponsored by Nike for a minute, sponsored by Titleist for a minute. They were taking him to AT&T Pro-Ams, and it was just incredible to watch him. So
Mm.
now, fast forward a little bit, and I am now working in video production.
Mhm.
And I was a producer, and we ended up doing a PBS documentary, and the PBS documentary is called LA Through the Pages. Really cool project. I felt that I had, was following a childhood dream, and got nominated for an Emmy and won. And
Oh,
I was like, this is it. We
wow.
made it, right? And I felt hollow. I felt empty. I was thinking jobs are coming. We're selling a TV show next, and this is going to be incredible. And I think that there was something more for my life, and I didn't quite know what that looked like. But what I knew was this wasn't it. And so I really tried to inherently look through myself and say what really provides joy. Like if this was what we did chasing a dream, and it took 5 years to do that, what if we had no limits? What if there was no holds bar? What is the most extreme thing you can chase? um and I was like, being a PGA Pro Tour. And that sounds insane, but is it the same repeatable steps? And that's what I wanted to find out. So, fast forward a little bit more, and I reach out to Dan McLaughlin, and I wanted to pick his brain. I wanted to get to know him, and I started my journey. 200 hours into my journey, we finally got made contact, and I flew
Okay.
out to Oregon and I played around with Dan McLaughlin. I let him know what I wanted to do, and he's like, "You're insane. I did this as a single man when golf was on a downturn, so it was easier to do. You're doing this with a full-time job, 4 kids. That's insane." And I said, "Yeah, I think yes, it is insane, but yeah, you're not wrong." But I think that the difference in that is that I don't necessarily have a time constraint. There is a reasonable amount of effort that you need to put in daily, I believe, to be able to do this. And later on, Malcolm Gladwell's theory has slightly been debunked, that it is not just a general 10,000 hours that will make you an expert at something, but a focused 10,000 hours. And that is really key, that word focused.
Okay.
Because no matter if I go out and play 36 holes, how many of those holes was focused?
There's a lot to unpack there.
Mm,
First off, because I want to get to that focused 10,000 hours.
mhm,
The whole so we I because I wanted to ask you, what was that one moment where you said, "Okay, I'm actually doing this?" You
mhm.
definitely answered that question. Just real quick, 6,000 hours, Dan's 6,000 hours. What does that look like time-wise?
That's a really good question. I want to say 2015. So
Mhm.
2009, he started 2015. So 6,000 hours. That's 6 years, almost a
Oh
thousand hours a
my
year.
god. Okay,
Yeah.
almost a th
So you're
oh
looking
my
at a
gracious.
10-year
Okay.
journey for the most part. Now you can shave that
Wow.
down.
Sure.
And but yeah, I think it's
Wow.
part of it.
Okay. Okay, that's a lot to process there. Okay. Now how are you focusing your 10,000 hours? What are some things that you are keeping in mind, like, when we play?
Great question. So,
Yeah.
golf to me, there are rounds that I play that I log,
Mhm.
and there are rounds that I play that are like I'm out with a friend and we're just having a really good time together. So,
Mhm.
if as soon as a drink comes out, I have to stop logging. If there is alcohol involved that is not focused,
Mhm.
I'm out. If I am mindlessly starting to hit balls, which can happen, it actually happens a lot for chipping and putting because it's really
Mhm.
easy to navigate through a flow state, which you're still focused, or are
Mhm.
you thinking about like your grocery list that day? And so as soon as my mind wanders, we step back and we
Mhm.
regroup.
Mhm.
We hear it all the time. Everybody says, "Don't mindlessly go and hit balls," um, and so they say do practice your setup as you are approaching the ball. And that is one of the things that I do constantly, so that I am always in it. Adding pressure to situations is important to me. So one of the things that I do via my Instagram, which has become kind of playful, and part of my marketing is I do
Mhm.
one-on-one matches for sports cards because I'm fully vested to not lose some of these cards that actually mean something to me. So I have a card right now that's a Gary Player autograph that I want to hold on to, and so I'm playing these one-on-one matches, and I'm in it because I really don't want to lose this card. And so being able
Mm.
to do those kinds of things is important. I do log workout hours as long as it is not. Um, it has to be somehow golf related.
Mhm.
I'm not going out there lifting massive weights like an Olympic lifter. I am doing mobility training, and those hours do count towards it. But anything that's like visual learning, so if I'm watching a video about something or if I'm reading a book about something, I don't consider that focused hours because you're not necessarily in the moment of something that you're going to be practicing. You're just brainstorming on what you can
Mm.
be doing. And so
Mm.
those are some tips and tricks of how I stay in it.
Wow. Are you tracking your hours like a scientist or like a golfer guessing on the range?
Uh,
How are you logging your hours?
I have a notebook that I physically write in that I log my hours. So 641 hours currently. I'm going to come up on my first year here in the next 3 weeks.
Okay, how many hours have you logged so far?
641.
600 and that's such a specific number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where was your game like, maybe within the first 100 hours versus 600 hours later?
That's a great question. So I started with one benchmark, and so and I have to say I did not, like Dan McLaughlin. I did not start from zero, though my hours started from zero. I did not start with zero golf experience, which is somewhat helpful, because I believe the everyday amateur who picks up golf for the first time might shoot like a 120 the first time they go out somewhere.
Mhm.
My first logged round, which commenced the new Dan plan, I shot an even 100. So it's okay,
That's not bad.
it's not
No.
bad. And
Mm-mm.
so, I was unofficially like a 27 handicap at first. And immediately thereafter, probably within the first 30 days, I went out and shot like a 105. So it was not great. That's that's where I started.
We all
And
gotta start somewhere, so
we all got to start somewhere.
yeah.
And so just about crossing my 600-hour mark, I broke 80 for the first time.
Oh!
Yeah. And so that was really, really cool for me, especially, and I don't say this as a skill to skill comparison because I don't think that that's fair. And frankly, I think I look up to Dan McLaughlin to ever do that.
Mm,
But by trending his hours and seeing where he was and trending my hours to see where I am to show me what my potential can be,
mhm,
it took him 2,500 hours to break 80 for the first time. He also did it from the whites like I did, which was interesting because I guess the caveat was I had shot a 75 from gold tees. I don't have the heart to count that one, because I was hitting par fours with off the tee. Like
Ah,
that's not.
he's an honest golfer, everybody. He's an
Yeah,
honest golfer.
yeah, it's just not. It's good to know that I could chip and putt sometimes, but yeah, that was that was that. Um, but yeah, we did it from the whites, and now I'm pretty much exclusively playing from the blues unless I'm doing something for practice to change up how I strategically look at some things. But yeah, and I went out to Los Serranos the other day. And this was a really big one for me because it was the first time I'm like looking at over 7,000 yards, and then
Mm,
looking at shooting an 86 there, competing with Nick Delfico, mind you, who is an incredible golfer. And it was awesome to see that I can hang in some of those situations.
very nice. How
Mhm.
many, okay, because we touched on earlier, your family,
Mm.
your job. How many hours are you able to practice, like, on a daily basis? What are your like, how many hours a day are you practicing right now?
That's a really good question. So it
Mhm,
is so scattered sometimes. At minimum, I can get in about 2 hours. In the beginning, it was a little bit harder while we were trying to find our footing.
mhm,
There are days like today where I'm 3 days out, and these 3 days are painful, because it's a lot of moving backwards. But at
mhm,
minimum, it's 2 hours a day. And then I take advantage of opportunities when I can. There was a time that I stayed out of the office for a full week, so that I can put in 40 hours that week, because I just needed it.
mhm.
Um, and so at minimum two, at maximum on the weekends, I'm putting in 7, 8 hours at a time. Can Go ahead.
Are you working with a coach or building
Yeah.
your own system?
It's a great question. So yeah, early on, I wanted to do this right. So I found a coach who was local to me. His name is Lee Breckenridge. He's an awesome human being, and he's been with me almost since the very beginning, almost since like month one.
Mm,
And we do weekly lessons.
got you. How much of
Yeah.
your time is technical versus, like, scoring practice, if that
Mhm.
makes sense?
And technical, as in breaking down the swing itself.
Yes, yes.
That's a really good question. So, I would say mornings are very much game decisions and context because I play about 9 every morning, before I even go into the office. And so that 9 is all based on what are the choices that I'm making, what is the contact I'm feeling, playing different lies, making sure that I don't lose that touch.
Mm,
And then in the evenings, because I have a family, And because I do have a full-time job, accessibility was important. So I put a simulator in my garage, and that is where we start working
Mhm.
techniques. And so things like, pullback drills, making sure I'm rotating, those kinds of things will happen in the evening.
Got
So
it.
at minimum, those are my 2 hours, right? I play 9 in the morning, and then I do swing training it in the evening.
Got it. Do you log when you play, because you said you have a simulator, do you log
Mhm.
your simulator golf practice too?
Yes, absolutely.
That's so
Uh,
smart to do that. That's
yeah.
great.
And
Okay.
it's essentially, I there are two modes that I use most on it. I
Mhm.
have a Sky Trek. I'm not, they don't promote me. They should. They're awesome.
Yeah, did
Uh,
you hear that? Get this guy him paid.
right.
Come
But
on.
but they one of the best investments I made to my game, because it allows me to take 100 swings a day. Yes, it's on a mat. How often are you actually taking that clean of a swing?
Mhm.
Probably never, but it was so important. It was one of the things that I didn't realize how important it was, that like when you are practicing, are you wearing your golf shoes? Because the height difference of your shoe matters. Because I kept changing my shoes. I'd wear my everyday shoes and I was swinging, and then I kept chunking it in the grass. And I was like, what is happening? And quite literally, I have like a quarter of an inch difference in the shoe height, and you're like, this is massive. So I start practicing with
Oh.
my golf shoes, and then all of a sudden I'm like making
Mhm.
clean contact all the time, and it's like that's the muscle memory. But
Mm.
um, I digress. 100 swings a day
Got
on the
it.
Sky Trek really helped. I one on the open range if I'm just trying to work through mechanics, and then two, my favorite mode is being able to pop it in where like I'm actually hitting an approach to a green, which is what we're going to be working on next. So I just did a 30-day putting study to really improve my
Ooh.
putting, and then I think what we're going to be moving into next is either approach game or wedges, but trying to keep a focus every month.
Got you, got you. What part of your game changed the fastest once you committed to this?
That's a
That
really good question.
yeah.
Um, I want to say building my stock swing
Mhm.
shaved strokes the fastest. Because then you start doing things like I know my miss, I block right, I play a draw, which is hard because now I have a two-way miss, right? It's like
Yeah.
I play left, it goes right.
Yeah.
But it helps being able to aim, and I think that was something that was opened my mind a little bit,
Mhm.
of where I aim or how I aim, because when you start realize, actually, if you know Dallas Webster from Tangent Golf, he made a video recently which was
Yeah,
so sharp.
Dallas, tangent,
Dallas,
yeah.
yep.
Mhm.
So he said everybody looks at their golf shot like a straight line, like a laser. Whereas even pros don't do that. The better you get, you start looking at it like a flashlight and your dispersion. And so that was the quickest improvement to my game. As soon as I started realizing my
Mhm.
flashlight and where I was going to miss, that I'm
Mhm.
literally not going to hit the pin every time. Even these guys aren't. The pros are not hitting the pin every time.
Mhm.
And that was what was starting to, like, that's when I started breaking 90. Um, it was really important.
Isn't that incredible? Just from one little intricate perspective,
Hmm.
mentally,
Hmm.
suddenly it translates into your physicality, and now we're breaking 90 or we're
Yeah.
breaking 80. Golf, the mental part of golf is such a mystery
Yeah.
to anybody who comes into the game. I mean, I've been playing this game since I was 13, but
Mm.
I know that my college experience was cut short, but I know that if I played all 4 years, I would also be a different level golfer,
Mm.
than I am today, and, that's a lot for me to just admit right there, but it's so mental.
Mm.
But real quick, I wanna get to let's talk about golf content.
Mm.
Let's talk about the content.
Yeah.
When did documenting, I should say, the journey become part of the mission?
Mm. So the Dan plan was built on that. The Dan
Mhm,
plan originally was in blog format. And that was a sign of the times. In
mhm,
2009, that was very effective. And frankly, I would even argue that today, I posted a Reddit post recently, and
mhm.
it performed very well because I do believe that documenting the journey in written form in a golf journey specifically is actually really powerful. But I wanted to bring that documenting to the modern age. I think that there's a platform that we use, that being able to visually see the efforts, the good, the bad, and all of that, I think was a strong narrative. And then having a marketing background, I know that if I want to put in 40 hours a week, I know that the only way I'm going to be able to do something like that is if I get picked up with brand sponsorships or people that want to make videos. And I'm blessed and fortunate to have a team that can help out with video production. And so sometimes I can make some higher upper scale video content. I can do long form, I can do short form. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. I think the opportunity is there. I have the experience to be able to do some of this. I've done it for companies. I do it for companies now. Why don't I just treat this like a company? And so
Mm.
being able to do that video one, have that mentality video one, I think was important. Because I mean, transparently, I made my initial launch video. I think I posted it April 26th, the day after I started the journey. And the first thing I did was I put like $50 in boost ad spend towards it. And that was, to this day, it's my highest performing video. It's got like 298,000 views. It's got I got the majority of my followers off that first bump, and it just came from some marketing knowledge to say, treat it like a business day one, and you might get some traction. I think that initially helped to be able to build that following, but um, I've said it pretty much to almost everybody I talk to. I by no means consider myself to be an influencer. I don't think I want to be an influencer.
Mm. Mm.
Um, I what I want is to be able to share my journey and inspire people. And if video
Mhm.
gives me that platform, awesome. I think I'm human, and I notice sometimes that I can get into the, oh, this video is performing well, and I stop thinking like the guy who wants to put in hours into golf, and I then start trying to market golf videos, and those are something I should say is anybody who's doing golf content, I have mad respect for them. Mad respect for them, because it is a full-time job to be able to come up and be like, I got this new idea that I want to try. This is what's working. This is how I'm connecting. That's
Mhm.
incredible. Um, I'm not that. I get to, take the Gary V approach of I'm just documenting what I'm currently doing, and I'm fortunate enough that people think that that's kind of cool in a very small and humble platform, and enough to be able to say every once in a while a brand will work with me because they believe in my
Nice.
journey. And so if I was to make $1 million tomorrow, I would gladly accept it, to be an influencer, right? But it would not be mission successful. The successful mission is to get to a level where I'm qualifying for a PGA Tour event. That could be Q School, that could be the PGA Tour, that could be PGA Tour champions when I
Mhm.
cross 50, and that's okay. I think the cool part about it, and what's most important, is especially in that first video, what I found out, a lot of people in today's society think that doing difficult things is so far out of reach that it's not even worth believing in yourself to go out and do something, and that is heartbreaking.
Wow.
And so I have 4 kids, and I want to show them that as a dad, when you want something, go get it. And this is what that looks like. And there's no other way that I knew how to do that other than documenting. I had the ability behind the camera. UGC is a little new to me, so filming stuff on cell phones a little new to me, but easy enough. It's hey, I'm doing this thing. Why don't we film it? And sometimes it'll take me out of focus. Even when we played our
Mhm.
round, I don't know if you noticed, like I try to be in the moment of meeting new people and having these experiences. Let's film, these 6 things really quick, and then I want to be in the moment again.
Yeah.
And that's important for me.
Yeah, I wanna touch on that because when we played 18 holes, and
Mhm.
and the strategy was great. We were really all about getting the content that we wanted to get on the front 9 so that we can have and it was still really focused because all 3 of us have the same golf objectives. So I
Mhm.
really hope that you felt that you could log those 2 hours. And
Mhm.
then when we went back to the back nine, we were dialed in, and
Yeah.
you and I, we were making some really good shots, and then
Mhm.
we were also, like, learning from each other, but I learned a lot from you, and I gotta tell you, the one part of your game that impressed me the most was your putting.
Mm.
You're a great putter.
Oh,
Y
thank you.
or your putting game was just really on the day that we played.
It was
Who
really
knows?
odd that day, absolutely. I what's really cool is sometimes my putter shows up, and I wanna be more consistent with that. I mean, who doesn't, right? But thank you for your kind words there. It was a really good putting day, and I actually so currently in the middle of a
Mm,
30-day case study, because I wanna be able to count on it. Jack Nicklaus, has a really cool moment where, he was talking about I think it was in the Masters, where he made a very difficult putt, and that was the moment in his brain. He
mm,
said, "I can do it when it matters," and then it just turned on, right? I want that moment, and so kudos to Spoiler Golf. I don't know if you've heard of Spoiler Golf and their putters. They won best putter for 2025. And so I was doing some research about what they do and what they're about. And they are all about pure roll. So when you are making contact, they want to give you feedback on your putter on even the ascending or descending blow of where you are hitting your golf ball. And that has made leaps and bounds of difference in my golf game because pace has always been a big issue for me, specifically because of the green speeds. There are some days I can go to a muni course and I'm like, oh man, I'm on fire. And then you go somewhere like Mulholland Hills where they're running like 12s or 13s and you can blow it past that hole really fast if you if you're
oh
not paying
my
attention.
god. We're talking about, because you keep bringing up your family, and I love
Mm,
that you're a family guy. You have 4 kids,
yeah.
you're logging hours, you have an ambitious goal.
Mm,
And we're talking about all the ups here. There's so many great ups. What was
mm.
like, well, tell me about a time where there was like a down. You experienced a down day in your process, in your journey.
Yeah. So, I have to start off by saying I have one of the coolest wives on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Where anytime I've been able to say, "Hey, I want to chase this dream," she's like, What do we need to do? We're all in. How do we help support that?" And none of this is possible without that. The video production wasn't possible without that. The golf journey is not possible without that. And so having that as my backbone has been really important. Um, and that very much correlates to some of the hardest moments of this journey because mentally as a father, when you are out playing golf, and it is playing, you sometimes feel guilty because I know that my wife is at home with the kids and I am out playing a game. That's hard sometimes, Um, and this is to show you how cool my wife is because the
Mhm,
hardest days are when I play. So I just went out and had a tournament and I shot a 91 at that tournament. It was also at Los Serranos a week after, 4 days after I shot an 86 from longer
mhm.
tees. Mentally, it is hard because golf is hard. And so you think to
Yeah.
yourself, was it the pressure? No. Was it because you just didn't have it that day? Is that can you chalk it up as that? How far and do you want to break down this game? And then your mind will attack you, right? And the hardest part about it is when I told my wife, there are moments when I'm having these hard days that I'm like, what am I doing out here? I can be spending these hours with my kids. I can be spending these hours with you guys. Um, and am I wasting my time? And she told me the most powerful thing. This was early on. This was even like 200 hours in. She goes, when you have that thought, you're right. What are you doing out there? And so don't have that thought because we got your back. We are cheering you on when you go out there, good,
Ooh,
bad, you win with us. We know what you're doing. We know what you're putting in there. And that keeps me going. So yes, I have bad days and the demons on my shoulder when you put a lot of pressure on like chipping right now. You want your chips to fall in within 5 feet, at least at this skill level where I'm at. I was anytime I can't execute or I am doing the wrong thing, I am easily attacked in my own brain. It comes out and what are you doing, Daniel? What are you doing here? And then you have to let go and say, if we're not having fun, what are we doing? If
Mhm.
we're not looking at the higher objective here, what are we doing? And so it's really important. My evenings, I sleep with the TV on, and really really fortunate that my wife is cool with that. And usually it's golf on in the evenings. One of the strongest things to wind down my day is that you see that pros are making mistakes too, and just give yourself
Absolutely.
right,
Yes.
give yourself
Yeah.
grace and move on.
Not me over here just choking back tears. Oh, she's a real one.
Yeah, she's a real one. She's a real one. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, okay, that's wow, and I can't wait to meet her because
Yeah.
everything that you and anytime you brought her up in our met, I was like, "Oh, I know I would love to be friends with this person. She
Yeah.
seems so great. I can't wait
She's
to
a
meet
real one.
her." And the
Yeah.
kids. Oh, you gotta get them into the sport too. You know that, right? That's your
Absolutely.
obligation.
That's my obligation. But well,
Yeah.
and then it stops becoming practice and it starts becoming bonding. That's the trick.
Bonding.
That's it.
What are we doing? We are doing some, focused bonding here.
Focused bonding, exactly.
I
Uh,
love it. I love it.
every single child except for our newborn, except for our 6-month-old, has played around with me
Mhm.
at one point or another. Every single one of them has come to the range with me at one point or another, and they all take swings in the simulator in the garage. So we still, believe it or not, I've gotten some hate comments on it, but believe it or not, I am a present father. I do read them stories
Mm,
before bed, and I take them to school in the mornings because that is priority number one.
mhm.
You know.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think you're just the way that you talked about your family, your wife, your story. I think it's just I think it's so special. It really is. And
Thank you.
I just can't thank you enough for taking the time to share your story, and more people need to learn more about you. Now,
Mm,
before we wrap up, I'm going to do a little quick rapid fire, and then we're going to close
yeah,
this out. Okay.
great.
So, all right. So prepare for this.
Okay.
One to two word answers here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Range or course practice?
Course practice.
Simulator or grass?
Oh, that's
Mhm.
really hard. Um, Simulator on the grass.
Daniel, I know what
Yeah.
you did there. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Weakest club in your bag, and why is it a three wood?
Oh God. Or the three hybrid. I can go either way. Jesus. Yeah, three wood. So definitely. Jeez.
We're gonna clock that one. Dream pairing.
Jordan Spieth.
Ooh, wait,
Yeah. I mean, Tiger Woods too, but everybody says Tiger Woods. Jordan Spieth.
yeah. Okay,
He's the only one that looks at the hole when they putt like I do.
you do this.
Mhm.
Oh, I. Oh. Wait. You do this.
I do.
I do it
Mhm.
for long putts. If it's a long
Mhm.
putt and I need to
Mhm.
gauge distance,
Yep.
and I think, oh my gosh, and I think the reasoning why we do this is because, and I think you said this, or maybe I said this, when you're standing at a free throw line in basketball, you're looking at the net the whole time. You're not looking
Mhm.
at your ball,
Yeah.
right? There's some logic to that.
Yeah. I learned it from a graphic design class. So we used to because I mean I don't feel old, but I just turned 35. And so when we did graphic design, we had like grid paper that we were doing and utilizing some things. And so my graphic design teacher would essentially say, look at where you are drawing and your pencil will end up there. And so your brain knows what to do. So I just took that same principle and applied it to putting. If I'm looking at where I'm going, which by the way, isn't necessarily the hole, it's my line. I'm looking at my line, which isn't necessarily the hole.
Mm,
But if I'm looking at my line, my brain will know where to put the ball.
got you. And then
Mhm.
last question, most underrated skill in golf.
Oh, believing in yourself.
Oh, we're gonna end right there before I cry. Not everybody has that self-belief anymore. We talked
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah, I think that's actually everything. David Franks, who played with us, he said something that always resonated with me. Those that are very good at this game,
Mhm,
they're hungry. They go after it. They know they can do it, and I think that not with arrogance, with confidence. I've done this before, and I'll do it again.
mhm.
And if there's anything that I can say after 10,000 hours when I'm done with this journey, is one, I'm going to cross the finish line, and the Dan plan will be complete. But two, I hope that somebody looks at me one day and they goes,
Mm,
I can do this thing that's really hard because that guy did
mm,
it.
Dan, you're the man with the plan.
I love it.
I love it too, and honestly, I think golfers everywhere are going to be watching this journey even more now than
Cool.
before. Where can everyone follow along with the 10,000 hour challenge? Where can
Uh,
they find you on social
it,
media?
Instagram at the new Dan plan is my strongest platform. We just started reaching out into TikTok, YouTube, and I'll give you some breaking news. We have our first official long form video coming out, and it is very much like a Netflix documentary. So it's going to be about this 30-day putting case study, and I'm excited to release that out. That'll be on YouTube, but Instagram, the new Dan plan. Come and find me, and I'm very honored for anybody that would choose to follow my journey. So appreciate
You
it.
you got it, Dan. Dan Baghdasarian, the man with the plan. Thank you so much for hanging with us here at the Pin
Francesca.
High Philadelphia Golf Show.
I
I really
appreciate you.
appreciate it. You got it. Until next time,
Ditto.
guys, keep them in the fairway. Good luck to you, Dan, and I will see you back in LA.
You got it. See you then.